telling anybody I got a check of 5 lakhs in the association. The person told me, who is the person who sent me 5 lakhs? Then I started protecting from my mobile. And I saw that Sasi Sharma, he called himself this arm. So he was the first to give a check of 5 lakhs to the association. I welcome him. He was settled in the US. Now, of course, come and settle in Jaipur. So please welcome Sasi Sharma. Sri Badan Gopal Sharma and Badan Gopal Singhal and Vanita Singhal. Friends, the last name from the civil branch, 31 of them they have come here to take the memento. I call Sagamil Jain from Jaipur.
Yes, please.
Now I start the mining. There are 6 of them are here. So I call all 6 of them. Mr. Abdul Shakur. Okay, senior vice president in the JK Cement, also now the advisor, taking advisor to JK Cement. So many things to be. He is the one of the coordinator here. You see this time he has come. He is quite of his inability to come here. He has come to the stage. Friends, one more thing I want to tell about him.
Yes, please.
I want to tell one more thing. We were looking for the sponsor. This is the LNT here.
Yes.
Okay. So I said when he was in the Poland, he was supposed to go to USA. Then he returned back, came to my house. Then say what happened? Sponsor, I couldn't get the money. Then they said okay, we'll send it. No, LNT. And it's for 2 lakhs, we sent it 275. So 275 for this sponsor, we got it from his account. So celebrate is a nice sponsor here. Thank you, Mr. Mukherjee. Name for this function is Mr. Vijaymal S. Mathur and Vinita Mathur. They are also the coordinator for this function. They have done
Yeah. Yes, please.
of course known to me because he was my director in ISC Bangalore. I am also the ISC student. He called me, Mr. Kothari, I am Sai manager. I don't want seek email of PG, but it's not the customary that we have who is our business. So I now invite none other than Padma Shri E.S. Goyal to kindly introduce Professor Mehta.
Professor Mehta, Soja, Madam Bajpayee, Sri पुरोहित इस प्रोग्राम के टाइम मूवर और इंस्पिरेशन डॉक्टर कोठारी और बहुत सारे ऐसे मित्र हैं जिन्होंने कंट्रीब्यूट किया। हमारे इस प्रोग्राम के जो M.B.M 1968 परिवार है हमारा, सब मेंबर, मैं इसको लार्जर कॉन्टेक्स्ट में देखूं तो हम लोग आसान रहे साथ साथ। आई थिंक वी आर नॉट देयर फॉर वी आर नॉट फॉरगॉटन ईच अदर इवन फॉर आफ्टर 50 years, so we are all a family and it's all because of those memories of 5 years we spent on this campus. But when we extend our family from M.B.M to Jodhpur, then we have the most prominent member of our greater family of Jodhpur Parivar is Professor Mehta. He is the most known personality of Jodhpur, not only in the country but also in the world. He is the most leading scientist in his area of chemical sciences in the world. Mostly the distinguished people in science with respect to the fellowship of academies. Professor Mehta is a fellow of all the science academies in the country. He is not only in the country, he has got recognition from most of the bodies which are there across the world. He is a fellow of the Third World Academy. He has also got a lot of awards as well as recognition from Germany, from France. A real light of this country in the area of sciences and particularly chemical sciences. He's also got the most prestigious award of the Royal Society of London. He has also got these awards, including of course Padma Shri. In this country, at the young age, we consider a most brilliant scientist below 45. That award is Santi Swarup Bhatnagar Award. Professor Mehta is the recipient of that award. He is the recipient of the Cross of Merit Germany and also the most prestigious award of the France and many others. In India, when we recognize an academician, in fact, you say recognize the academic institution, is the Indian Institute of Science. And someone who has been the director of the Institute of Science, that's something, a great achievement for any Indian scientist. Professor Mehta had the honor of being the director of that coveted position. He is most recognized as a scientist of Indian science, also in terms of policy. And I want to just add that he is one of the few Indian policy makers and thinkers who does not care about the politicians. Normally, I've been in the field of science and policy for quite some time, seen the government from very close quarters how that he works. And I can say, I don't want to name the so-called big names of science in this country, but most of them, sometime the other, they try to please politicians, but not Professor Mehta. And so he has affected very significantly the science. Of course, our two fields are quite different. I'm an engineer mostly in space, and he's basically scientist in chemistry. Our paths maximum cross at the airports. And one thing which I found connected us most was Jodhpur connection. Always, not only loved Jodhpur, but always concerned about Jodhpur. Another thing which connects two of us is, he was a member of the Space Commission for quite some time. And the two chairmen of ISRO who talked to me individually, and just happens to belong to that place, and everyone said the most, I would say, ferocious person in forwarding or pushing the human space program, man in space, has been Professor Mehta for almost now 15 years. And we are happy that this year the Prime Minister has announced that program. I'm sure his perseverance must have been one of the reasons in doing that. So he is the shining star of Jodhpur. He is, and we are all proud that as a 1968 batch, he has agreed to be chief guest of this our Golden Jubilee function. I would request and applaud तालियों के साथ उनका स्वागत है.
गोयल साहब मेरे बहुत अच्छे मित्र हैं कई दशकों से. गोयल साहब मेरे मित्र हैं कई दशकों से, और जब वो पिछले कुछ मिनट्स में मेरे को इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे थे तो मैं ये सोच रहा था कि कौन व्यक्ति जिसको इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं. मैं तो नहीं पहचानता कि मैं ही वो व्यक्ति जिसको इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं. आई कैन ओनली होप माई वाइफ इज इम्प्रेस्ड दैट शी हैज नॉट मेड ए टेरिबल मिस्टेक in finding me somewhere. Okay, this is a lighter vein. I would first begin by acknowledging the people on the dais and some off the dais. First of all, Goel ji, Professor Goel, Dr. Goel, Dr. Ota, Madam Bajpayee, and of course, the force behind this event, Shri Gautamji Kotharis. I would also like to greet all the, I like the expression that you use, diamonds, and I don't know whether gold is a very appropriate thing, but gilded individuals, all carry the shine of gold on you. So all the diamonds and gilded individuals who are present here. I must confess that this is a very touching moment for me, for several reasons. First of all, in some ways, I am on a very familiar home turf because I was born here, but I never lived and worked here. But Jodhpur is in my DNA because I was born here. So to be in Jodhpur and participating in this event is a great privilege for me. I also feel greatly privileged to be here because as a young child, I used to roam around this area. Jodhpur was a much smaller city at that time, and I used to see this magnificent, impressive building of M.B.M Engineering College. And I convinced myself that this is a place for outstanding people, and I was not one of those. So I will never find a place here. And therefore, I chose some other profession rather than seek admission to the engineering college. When I was listening to the introduction of all the alumni who are present here, one thing struck me, and that really touched me. I think Kothari put it in very simple, plain words, that we have representatives from every state of India who are present here. But to me, this is the diversity and the strength of our country, that we are all present. So I could see the colors of India, the spectrum of India, which makes our country, in the alumni who are present here. So these features really touched me. Before I came and when I was invited to be here, I wanted to know something about M.B.M College. And although most of you who are working here, who have studied here know, but I want to recall 2 or 3 things about M.B.M Engineering College, its origin, which are worth remembering, worth recognizing, and worth emulating. It was in 1951 that this college was established. This was established through a great act of philanthropy. Although the college is named about Munni Ram Bhangar, but he did not establish the college. He did not make the contribution. The contribution was made by his younger brother, Ram Kumarji Bhangar. It was Ram Kumarji Bhangar who, in memory and in respect of his very successful and outstanding brother, that he established this institution. This is something worth emulating. If you love somebody, if you care for somebody, there are many ways of expressing that. What can be a better way of expressing that love, regard, affection for somebody you love, to create an entity like this, which will live forever? And I think that's a very, very special message that the Bhangar family left for us. I also want to tell you, these days you talk to any new initiative, whether in the government, education sector, any other sector, there are this 3-letter word which is very commonly used, PPP model, public-private partnership. When this college was established, I don't think PPP word existed. But this is actually a product of PPP. Bhangar family contributed 8 lakhs, but 2 lakhs came from Hanuman Foundation. Foundation, whatever it was. And only in the preceding year, if I recall correctly, the ruler of Jodhpur then had died. But even their family, who had established the trust, felt that the best investment can be made is to promote education by establishing this institution. I am recalling these numbers, 8 lakhs from the Bhangar family and 2 lakhs from the Anand Foundation. 10 lakhs went into establishing this institution. I just want to share with you that today, when we establish new IIT in the country, or equivalent institution like ISER, the government spends 10,000 times the sum of that money. 10,000 times. The typical spend on a new IIT is of the order of 1,000 crores. But tells you, small money in the hands of committed people for a good cause can go a long way. That's what I think one of the messages of this contribution of the Bhangar family and the erstwhile rulers' trust was. But money cannot make everything go in the direction we want. you also need passionate people. And I would like to recall two persons' name, which I am going to understand played a pivotal role in the initial years of M.B.M Engineering College. One, himself an engineer, a very well-known entrepreneur, technocrat, policy maker, Shri Asandas Ji Bora, A.D. Bora. He was an outstanding person. He was a member of Planning Commission. I don't know whether he was formally a member of Planning Commission or not, but he was advising the then government of India on planning matters. And look at this interesting combination. It was Shri A.D. Bora and a politician, Mr. Mathuradas Mathur, who joined hands for a good cause. And I am given to understand, and I hope the place from where I culled out this information is a reliable information, and that's, I hope in those days fake news did not exist, so it can't be fake. I assume that this is true. Today we are living in fake news era. They work tirelessly together. Message again is that it is possible for a politician and an academic or a scientist, technologist to work in tandem for a great cause. And I think we should remember this and see that we can emulate these individuals. I have been associated with most of the new IITs which were started in the last 10 years. The gestation period for a new IIT is 1 to 3 years. Even our IIT here in Jodhpur came first elsewhere. It ran there for 2 years. Only in the third year it moved here. And I can tell you this is reliable because I am the chairman, but not coming here, going somewhere else because the IIT started somewhere else. I am telling you this because Mr. Bora and Mr. Mathur made sure that this M.B.M Engineering College started within 2 months of the government approval for this. Within 2 months in the same year. Modest beginning, 35 students were there in the first batch. Only one branch was there, the civil engineering. You know, we should never forget our roots. There is a very famous saying by Confucius. You know, Confucius was the contemporary of Buddha. He was also a wise man, born of course in another country. Confucius had said that study the past, draw lessons from the past if you want to invent future. It is in that context that I am trying to quote you what Confucius saying was. Okay, so that much about the origin. The 3 things that appeal to me, which are worth emulating, are the following. I am glad that M.B.M Engineering College has come a long way since then. It has grown in size, it has grown in the kind of disciplines that it is offering. I am given to understand, Dr. Uda, that now you have 12 branches in which you offer degrees. Maybe I am outdated in this, maybe more, but it's impressive from 1 branch to 12 branches. I also want to take this opportunity to recall, no institution can be built only by and a necessary requirement of champions of the cause. And I already mentioned there are champions of cause. But we also need people who will navigate the course. Even if you know the destination, our Goel Sahib is very expert and very well familiar with this art of navigation in the space everywhere. But institution also, you need navigation. Fortunately, this institution had outstanding faculty and almost, I consider, an iconic first principal in Sri Gerde. I never saw Vijay Gerde, but I like to recall. Because what I knew was, you know, sometimes as a young boy here, I lived here to age of 8 or 9 in Jodhpur. I used to wander here, and many people used to want, वो building में मत चले जाना, कभी गड्ढे साहब ने देख लिया तो बंद कर देंगे. You know, that was the kind of thing, attachment he had to this institution. And of course, he built, after he completed his term, he went to MNIT and built another NIT there. It was Regional Engineering College at that time. Of course, that was a great loss for our institution here, M.B.M Engineering College, because not only we lost an outstanding engineer and principal, but he also carried away the cream de la cream, so as to speak, of this institution. I wish I had known him, I didn't. But I knew his son, who was also a civil engineer, professor in IIT Kanpur. He was more my contemporary, so I interacted with him on many occasions. Arjagad, a very good friend of mine at that time. Okay, so we must recall and pay our due homage to their contributions. There are many, many people whose names were read out during the deliberation who have made this institution what this is today. You know, before I came, I felt when I had a chat with Dr. Goel, he also felt, and rightly so, that I may not be very familiar with this college, which is true. And I was also under the impression that what am I supposed to do here? So, Dr. Goel spent a lot of time and sent me a list of talking points, which also turned out to be thinking points. You know, talking points can be many, but thinking points always don't automatically flow from talking points. And he sent me something which, if I can use the jargon of bullets, in bullet font, he sent me, there are 20 issues on which I can talk. But neither you are in the mood, nor am I going to elaborate on each one of them. So I will be a bit selective. And please do not misunderstand if my delivery is somewhat in a chatty fashion and not in the form of a lecture or an address or something like this, because we are talking to same community of professionals in engineering, science, etc., etc. I would like to make a comment that while M.B.M Engineering College enjoyed great reputation in the past, is still enjoying good reputation today. But like everything in life, there are ups and downs. You know, it's a sinusoidal movement in life. So there is a high point, there is a low point, there is a median, and so on. On median, we are doing okay. If you look at the past, you look at the present, median is quite okay. But we have to now endeavor to see that we can lift M.B.M Engineering College to a much higher level, perhaps to the same or better what it existed. You know, you must remember, in the 1950s, M.B.M was among the very top institutions in the country. Of course, you can say that IIT didn't exist and so on and so forth, but its reputation and the public esteem was extremely high. Let's endeavor to see if we can restore that kind of name, fame, visibility, glory of this institution. But it will not happen unless every component which makes a great institution works in tandem. And there is support from high quality people, support from society, support from alumni, support from policy makers, support from the government of the day, and so on and so forth. So I think one of the things that we should do is to seek that kind of consensus on raising the bar for M.B.M Engineering College. And I must say that conclaves like this provide a forum to introspect, to reflect, to communicate, to have cross-fertilization of ideas to take our institution forward. And I'm sure that this kind of meetings will help in taking our institution forward. I do, being too familiar with higher education system is both an advantage and disadvantage. And I have been in this arena for 30 or 40 years. I would rather focus on disadvantages today than on advantages. The reason I want to focus on disadvantage rather than the advantage of experience is that if you look overall at higher education scenario, engineering education scenario, I'm sorry to say, this situation doesn't look very bright. Quality has got compromised at various levels. the policy interventions have been marginal. Where we needed a transformative change, what we have witnessed over the last 10-20 years are incremental step-by-step change. Now, step-by-step changes or at a slow pace changes are okay for geological features, but because geological time scales are very different from human time scales. But human time scales, things have to happen within the span of normal human life. So, I will not go to the specific, but I say that we should dedicate ourselves to see that we make about major changes. When we bring out major changes, it's not only in pedagogic sense, but in structural sense. Governance system, fundamentally important. If you ask me what are the two major issues that are afflicting adversely higher education, it is first the governance system and secondly leadership. There are some problems. We cannot address all of them, but I think governance issue we can attempt to address in the context of M.B.M. Engineering College. It's too well known an institution, it is too big an institution, it must enjoy certain level of autonomy. I would even venture to say it deserves independence, which is was I'm using in a very loose sense. It's another way of expressing extreme autonomy can lead to independence. How it should be done is something that has to be debated. Whether it should be done within this existing framework within the university, should be done on the side of the university, sufficiently independent, sufficiently autonomous, but has a loose connection with the university, or a completely independent entity. These things have to be debated out because emotions are involved, sensitivities are involved, and also different perceptions are involved. You know, we can't say we only know what is good. It's eventually the synthesis of many, many inputs and ideas that provide the best possible solution. So I hope that we would like to define the future for our institution and take everybody along. Because, you know, in all change, the first thing is certain about any change, and that is resistance. There cannot be a change without meeting stiff resistance. And there are two ways of handling resistance. One, which is not the best way, sometimes it is practiced, is to roughshod. Politicians are masters in doing this. But we academics like to take everybody along, build a consensus around what we wish to do. So please try to build both consensus around you, within the institution, other parts of the institution, so that this navigation will be relatively smoother. I don't have to tell you that there are many possibilities of this. There is, I know about, one of the technical universities, one of the earliest and very well known in our country is VTU, Vishwesvaraya Technical University of Karnataka. And I'm quite familiar with that, having given a convocation address, got a doctorate degree from that institution. So it's a very well-known institution. And all the engineering colleges are under this technical university. But there is one engineering college which is affiliated to that but is completely independent. And my colleagues who are from Karnataka will recognize that the engineering college in Bangalore is a stand-alone institution. It's not a degree awarding institution, but for all practical purposes, it is independent. So many such experiments have been done in our country, and I'm sure if the state government is enlightened, the state government can be convinced, it is possible to get status for M.B.M. Engineering College, which will give flexibility as well as an opportunity to get back to its old glory. I don't want to continue more than what I have already said. I would only like to say that when we look for the future of M.B.M. Engineering College, it will be very important to also factor in local demands, local resources, and local opportunities. You know, there is the increasing use of this phrase, think locally, act globally. And I think a good symbiosis of local and global, often called local. I think we should all shift from local and global to local, which is really a hybrid of local and global. Our city is called Sun City, plenty of sunshine, also a lot of wind energy present here. I think it's very important that we identify some areas where local talent, local resources can also help us in not only promoting us, but positioning us. We must create a niche. These days, this word is very commonly used. Institutions with niche have great future. We should therefore work out a niche for ourselves. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. When IIT came to Jodhpur, one of the areas we created was centers of excellence in solar energy harvesting and using solar energy for diverse things. Earlier, we are all familiar when you see these solar power generation panels. That's the solar PV route for getting energy. But a lot of changes have occurred in the last 6 or 7 years because PV-based solar energy devices have reached a plateau. It's not possible to increase the efficacy of photovoltaics anymore. So there are alternate ways of doing it. You know that biggest problem in solar energy is that storage systems. For quite some time, battery-based storage systems were thought of. Systems were thought of molten salt, very high temperature. You create molten salt, evening you draw heat from that and drive that turbine or whatever use we have. But there is a serious problem with batteries. Everybody is talking about batteries. But the problem with the batteries is that the lithium, which is present in every pocket here. When you put your hand in pocket and you touch your smartphone, you know that you have a lithium-ion battery in your pocket. But the prediction is that there will be no lithium available for mining by the end of this century. By 2100, no lithium will be there. And therefore, we have to look again for renewable sources for storage. Geological resources are finite and geological resources are very difficult to recycle. So we have to think differently. As of now, it's okay. We have still 80 years to go, but eventually we have to think for the future. Who will do this thinking for the future? It's colleges like M.B.M engineering college, which will think how our world will be 50 years, 80 years, 100 years from now. So when we talk of local, we recognize that there is something local available, but local by available, that is sunlight, is not enough. You have to innovate, find new ways how sunlight can be harvested. And the buzzword these days, is sustainability. So anything that you do, particularly in environment, power, energy sector, sustainability is the key. If you want to depend on the resources of our planet, it will not be sustainable. And I can give you some figure, although I don't want to burden you with that. Every year, 200 billion tons of material is taken out from the bosom of our planet and is processed. This is unsustainable. 10 साल निकल जाएंगे, 20 साल निकल जाएंगे, कोई होगा तो 40 साल निकल जाएंगे, everything will disappear. Is that the way we want our world to be? So if you want to have a sustainable world, you know that United Nations has declared that by 2030, every country has to achieve sustainable development goals, called SDGs. Institutions like ours should commit themselves to SDG. There are 17 points in SDG. Each one of it is a very challenging problem. Why not pick up one or two of them and say we will excel in that particular area? So I think we have to think a big picture, which is going to dominate our world in years ahead. So I would like to now stop here. I can go on. As I said, I hardly touched upon a few things that Dr. Goel sent me as talking points. And people in our profession have a big problem. Once they start talking, they don't know when to stop. And therefore, there are two solutions. Most of the time, PowerPoint presentation is made. So when you run out of your deck, you know that you have to stop. I use this technique always in my convocation addresses, which I give almost every month, somewhere or the other. I always take a printed version of convocation address and read it out. And people sometimes tell me, why do you read out? I said, I only read out because I know when to stop. Because when the last sentence is read, I know there is nothing more to be read. And so I did. Now, I didn't do this today. I kept it open-ended. But I must remind myself that this is time to stop. So once again, Kothari ji, Goel Saab, very kind of you to give me an opportunity to be with you. And I really tell you, my heart was filled with admiration when I met the veterans, the diamonds and the goldies of this institution. I found it very, very inspirational. And as they say, inshallah, if we are all around for the next 10 years, we'll have an opportunity to meet again. Thank you very much.
बहुत धन्यवाद पता साहब, इतनी अच्छी बातें आपने हम लोगों को दी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। ये कस्टमरी होता है इस तरह के फंक्शन में, जो लोग 50 साल के बाद मिले हैं, कुछ करना चाहते हैं, पर मेहता साहब को 12 बजे निकलना है। उससे पहले मैं 4-5 लोगों को ऐसा बुलाना चाहता हूँ आपके सामने। उससे पहले बुलाऊँ अपने डायमंड्स को, मैं बुलाना चाहता हूँ प्रोफेसर दामोदर जी को, जो फर्स्ट वाइस चांसलर रहे हैं के, वो कुछ कहना चाहते हैं और हमारे प्रोफेसर भी रहे हैं। सो आई इनवाइट।
धन्यवाद कोठारी साहब। मैं तो इसलिए 2 मिनट आपके लूँगा। कल उस कार्यक्रम में मैं वहाँ था, कस्तूरी रिसोर्ट में हुआ था, और वहाँ राजेंद्र मेहता जी ने एक गाना बनाया इसी फंक्शन के हिसाब से, और उसको स्टेज पे भी परफॉर्म करवाया अपने साथियों से। वो गाना गोल्ड वॉइस के लिए था और बहुत ही बढ़िया था, सक्सेसफुल था। उस दिशा में एक कविता मेरे पास मिली मुझे, मैं चाहता था वो कविता भी आप सुने। कविता का शीर्षक है पुराना विद्यार्थी। पुराना विद्यार्थी, ओल्ड स्टूडेंट। एक महाविद्यालय में छात्रावास के नए भवन के उद्घाटनार्थ विद्यालय के पुराने छात्र लेकिन नए नेता, वो नेता भी थे, बुलाया गया। अध्यापकों ने कार के दरवाजे खोले, नेताजी आए हैं तो टीचर्स भी उनकी रेस्पेक्ट करेंगे। नेताजी उतरते ही बोले, यहाँ तर गई कितनी ही पीढ़ियाँ इस कॉलेज में। आहा, वही पुरानी सीढ़ियाँ, वही मैदान, वही पुराने कक्ष, वही छात्रावास, वही प्लेग्राउंड, वही पुरानी बदहवासी, वही पुरानी चपरासी। एक कल ये भी जिक्र आया, एक चाय की दुकान हुआ करती थी हॉस्टल के सामने। मैं भी हॉस्टल रहा हूँ। हाँ, चांडू की दुकान। मैं हॉस्टल इसलिए रहा कि आप सब जो हॉस्टल में रहे हैं, हॉस्टल में रहना एक अलग प्रिविलेज है और डिग्री के अलावा एक एडिशनल क्वालिफिकेशन है। पेरेंट्स मेरे पावटा में रहते थे, फिर भी मैं हॉस्टल में रहा, क्योंकि आप सब जानते हो सेशनल असाइनमेंट पूरा करने में हॉस्टल सबसे बढ़िया रहता है। तो वो चांडू को सब जानते हैं जो हॉस्टल में रहे हैं। अब आया हॉस्टल का द्वार, वो कविता की कंटिन्यूएशन बता रहा हूँ। अब आया हॉस्टल का द्वार, वही पुरानी चाय की होटलें, वही पुरानी खड़ी। चारों तरफ दुकानों में लोग कर रहे थे नमस्कार, दुकानदार सब नमस्कार कर रहे थे नेताजी को। पुराने दोस्तों ने पूछा, यार बड़े पॉपुलर हो। नेताजी ने धीरे से कहा, यहाँ से जल्दी निकलो, इन सब का मुझ पर है बहुत पुराना उधार। तो चांडू की जो बात कर लोग कर रहे थे, चांडू जी तो अब नहीं रहे। मुझे किसी ने कहा उनके जो पौत्र हैं वो कल आएंगे फंक्शन में। तो मैं ये मानता हूँ कि चांडू जी तो ईश्वर के पास होंगे, लेकिन उनकी आत्मा आप सबको याद कर रही है। उसको शांति के लिए ये सब आपको प्रयास करना पड़ेगा। जिस किसी का उद्धार हो उनके पौत्र को जरूर देते जाए। धन्यवाद।
सर मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ अमर जी, हमारे एक निर्णय है, वो केवल इसीलिए आए हैं कि मेरे को चांडू के बेटे से मिलना है और मेरे को बोला कोठारी जी मेरे को टाइम दो, मैं उसका पूरा सम्मान करना चाहता हूँ, उसके लिए मैं गिफ्ट देना चाहता हूँ। तो हमने ढूंढा उसको, पहले मेरे को कहा कि आप ढूंढिए उसको, तो मैं काफ़ी चक्कर लगाया यहाँ पर, 2 के लिए बोला था। एक तो हमारे होटल थे जहाँ पर मोस्टली हम लोग जब छुट्टी होती थी तो जो भी खाना पीना होता था उस समय हम जाते थे, वो होटल वाले को तो हम ढूंढ नहीं पाए। हमने मेहता साहब ने बहुत कोशिश की पर चांडू के बेटे को ढूंढ निकाला। सर हमारा एक होटल हुआ करता था जहाँ हम सभी लोग चाय पीते थे। जब पोस्टमैन आता था तो पहले चांडू पे जाता था, चांडू कहता मैं चलता हूँ, सब उधार रहता था उसे चाय का। तो पहले वो पोस्टमैन चांडू को लेके हमारे हॉस्टल में आया करता था कि भाई मेरे पैसे दे दो, आपने मनी नहीं आया। तो आज शाम को 7 बजे हमने उसको बुलाया है, इस लड़के को, हम उसका सम्मान करेंगे सब। और श्री शर्मा जी साम फ्रॉम USA, he said I owe him more. So he is the one fellow who contributed a lot to get this my position. Okay, so 7 बजे उनका हम सम्मान करेंगे। उससे पहले 6 बजे हमारे पास फोटोग्राफ कुछ लोग रह गए हैं और वहाँ जो लाइट रहती है 6 बजे तक रहती है, कल रह गए थे। तो विल हैव आवर फोटोग्राफी सेशन आल्सो at 6. So now friends, to share our experiences, I call at least 3-4 persons from among us. I call Dr. C.K. Balsali first. Please come. Sir, I just tell you, in this very hall, we have his lecture, 9 o'clock. Dean Saab said that I want my final year students and my staff, they are more interested in the staff. They want to know what is this cloud computing. When we have the expert, world expert in cloud computing with among us, we want to take his knowledge. So we have put a 2 hours lecture on the first in this very hall for all staff and final year students. That's arranged. But let us also hear for 5 minutes what he is now. Please, Mr. Sir.
Professor Mehta Sahib, we're privileged to be here along with our respected professors. It's such a great pleasure. तो कोठारी साहब तो बिजनेसमैन हैं, तो उन्होंने कहा यार इतना खाना पीना खिलाया है तो गली का बकरा बनाना पड़ेगा। तो अब से 5 मिनट पहले मुझे कहा कि कुछ बोलना है, तो मैंने कहा चलिए जो भी दिमाग में आएगा मैं बोल दूँगा। तो सबसे पहले तो मैं आपका अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूँ और हमारे जो प्रोफेसर्स यहाँ पे हैं उनका सबका अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूँ। अच्छा, और उससे बाद में ये संभव, ये पूरा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और ये सब कुछ संभव ही नहीं होता अगर विदाउट द हार्ड टायरलेस वर्क ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजर्स. So let us give a big round of applause to all the organizers. Please. I mean, कभी सोच भी नहीं सकते थे कि this kind of organization is possible. हम तो लोग कल जो बस में जा रहे थे परसों लगा के हम तो 70 साल के बच्चे हो गए. Everybody was enjoying अंत्याक्षरी, jokes. I mean, it was an unbelievable experience and one of the most memorable experiences of our life. Agree? Yes. So thank you all, everyone. We could not recognize you formally, but we informally, with our heart, bottom of heart, we thank all the organizations, all the organizers who have put so much hard work into making this possible. Thank you. अच्छा, तो हम जिस स्टेज पर हैं उसमें वहाँ तक लाने में मेरे पेरेंट्स का तो बहुत हाथ रहा ही है, और उसके सिवा मेरी धर्मपत्नी शारदा बंसाली का भी हाथ रहा है बहुत। पर एक चीज़, तीन चीज़ें हैं जिनका बहुत ज़्यादा हाथ रहा है। मेरी प्राइमरी स्कूल, मेरी स्कूल थी मिडिल स्कूल, बाल निकेतन। आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हर्ड ऑफ इट, एंड दैट वाज वन इंस्टीट्यूशन। और वहाँ पे जो प्रोफेसर वो थे हमारे अध्यापक बंधु जी, उनका बहुत बड़ा हाथ रहा। दूसरा हाथ रहा है M.B.M इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज का, और तीसरा हाथ रहा है IISc बेंगलोर का। और आप सोच सकते हैं ये तीनों चीज़ें क्या है? तीनों चीज़ें एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं। तो एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस एक्चुअली मेक अस। मैं प्रोफेसर साहब जहाँ पे जब इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज आए थे, M.B.M इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में, इतने उत्साह से प्रोफेसर बनाते थे। मैं सबका नाम तो नहीं ले पाऊंगा, लेकिन प्रोफेसर आलम सिंह जी, प्रोफेसर दिवाकर, प्रोफेसर जगदीश चंद्र, और मेरा इससे पहले मेरे भाई साहब डॉक्टर V.K. बंसाली का इस कॉलेज से सहयोग रहा। उन्होंने इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में आप सबको इलेक्ट्रिकल में पढ़ाया था। तो ये बात है कि एजुकेशन इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट, दैट मेक्स अस, एंड स्टिल वी आर नॉट डूइंग everything that we can for this education that is basically neglected. तो जरूर बात है कि हम लोग अब सब जब आए थे तो यंग थे, अपन लोग अब 60 साल बाद, 50 साल बाद में वापस आए हैं। Institutions don't have to get old. As they got older, as time passes, they have to become young, and they have to start rethinking. The whole world is changing at a phenomenal pace. आप सोच नहीं सकते थे, कभी किसी को कहता कोई कि हम दुनिया में आज से अगर 10 साल को पहले कोई कहता कि दुनिया में कहीं बैठे हुए हम इससे फ़ोटो लेके दुनिया के कोई कॉर्नर में भेज सकते हैं, हम सोच नहीं सकते थे। पर इतना तेज चेंज हो गया है, और इसके लिए सबसे बड़ी चीज़ ये है कि जिस तरह से टेक्नोलॉजी एडवांस हो रही है, कॉलेजेस उसकी बहुत स्लो रेट से एडवांस हो रहे हैं। अभी जितने बड़े बड़े कॉर्पोरेशन सब कहते हैं हम लोगों को, हमारे पास इंजीनियर्स आते हैं और हमको सबको रीट्रेन करना पड़ता है, ट्रेन करना पड़ता है 6 महीने, 8 महीने, 1 साल का, बिकॉज जो उन्होंने पढ़ाई की है दैट इज़ नॉट दैट रादर। तो एक तरीका है कि अगर अपन इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज को, M.B.M इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज कुछ बनाना चाहते हैं, तो वी हैव टू मेक इट रेलेवेंट टू द नीड्स ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ करंट वर्ल्ड। क्या एक्चुअली नीड्स हैं? maybe we can has to have a character. Every institution में बाल निकेतन का एक अपना कैरेक्टर था, M.B.M इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में मैं तो उसका अपना बिल्कुल डिफरेंट कैरेक्टर था, और जब हम IISc में गए तो उसका बिल्कुल डिफरेंट कैरेक्टर था। तो हर एक चीज़, और IIT वगैरह जाएंगे तो वहाँ के लोग सोचते इस तरह से। तो ये होना चाहिए कि जो भी लोग M.B.M इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में आए उसकी एक ब्रांडिंग हो, उसकी एक स्ट्रेटजी हो, और जो लोग यहाँ पे एडमिट हों उनको एक फोकस हो कि हम यहाँ इसलिए आए हैं because this institution is going to impart something very special that is not available anywhere else. And that's the thing. It is not going to happen overnight, but you will have to start thinking about it. So what could be very special thing that M.B.M can offer, which is relevant in today's world. So I really thank you, and it has been such a pleasure being with you people. I mean, I could not recognize, and 80% of people, they could not recognize me. But after meeting after 50 years, it's such a pleasure, and with this grand scale and the amount of work these people have put, I really applaud them. Thank you very much for making this a wonderful, memorable day.
I have a compulsory HCC, and we used to have an HCC parade here. And then our commander used to be Vijay Bhatia. So I now invite our commander Vijay Bhatia.
Actually, I do not deny that I am a commander, because once a commander is always a commander till he or she dies. But today I am totally and completely overwhelmed. The reasons are very simple. Some of the reasons are sitting on the stage itself. Some of the reasons are there. Let me take you back about 50 years. When I finished my engineering from here, I joined the Navy, mostly because I couldn't cope up with the kind of intellect and kind of intelligence required for an engineer. I give due credit to Professor Jagdish Chandra, who is not, I think he is not here. Professor M.L. Mathur. Oh, Professor Jagdish Chandra is here. He taught me how to speak in English. Then he taught me how to write in English. Sir, I had been looking for you for the last 3 days. And this is the even more overwhelming thing that Professor Jagdish Chandra was. Let me just summarize this. When I joined the Navy, I opted again. I came to know that you have to work very hard to be in the ship's engine room. I said, "Bahar kaise niklega?" So I opted for aeronautics. It was a two-pronged attack. The first attack was to get onto the bloody engine room. The second attack was, somehow I wanted to touch a stone or something in Indian Institute of Science so that I could tell people that I have also been through Indian Institute of Science. So I went there, 4 months, courtesy Navy. I was given a course in aeronautics. And it was my heartfelt desire that somebody should associate me with Indian Institute of Science. The Fauris can think only very small. And today, ladies and gentlemen, can you believe the gentleman who headed the Institute of Science, who was the director, comes here, not only talks to us, he shakes hands with me and gives me a shield. It is perhaps the greatest achievement of my life. The second thing that overwhelmed me completely was the fact that I am a class fellow. Class of 68 has got people like Professor Goel, Professor Kothari, and host of other bigwigs in the industry, science, technology, commerce, entrepreneur, you name it, they are there. Therefore, it's a moment of great privilege and pride for me that I am sitting in the company of such distinguished people. Last but not the least, on this very stage where my respected scientists, engineers are sitting, we were all here and I had taken part in a play called Geet Ki Khoj. Do you remember that? Some of you? And Subodh Bhatnagar was with me and Lalit Agarwal was also there. Imagine you come back after 53 or 52 years on the same stage. That makes you totally overwhelmed. Let me quote some little shairi to you. फनक धनुक महताब घटाएं, तारे नभ में बिजली फूल, रेनबो, सनलाइट, रेज, तारे, everybody knows तारे नभ में बिजली फूल. इस दामन में ये सब कुछ है, पर ये दामन हाथ में आए तो today that desire is fulfilled, that I get what I wanted in life from the people I always respect. Ladies and gentlemen, I came here as an unknown, illiterate entity. My professors, one of them is sitting there, cut us, finished us, polished us, and sent us out. And whatever I did till today, I don't think even 1% of that I would have achieved on my own. My entire little way I talk, sleep, write, read, breathe is because some people here decided that we should make a man out of this stupid boy. I'm very thankful to my professors. The other thing that I learned here, My respected professor just talked about sustainability and excellence. In the armed forces, sustainability and excellence is the only motto. Only thing is, it's slightly perverted kind of sustainability. For example, we are supposed to be fit. So if you can keep fit for 50 years, you are sustaining yourself. So I said that's the definition in armed forces of sustainability. Excellence is you dress well. You should be the best dressed person in the vicinity. So I also know what is sustainability. I also know what is excellence. But what he talked about today is what really matters in life. Just because Islam, हजारों साल नरगिस अपनी बेनूरी पे रोती है, पर बड़ी मुश्किल से मिलता है चमन में दीदा हुआ। यानी कि हमारे जैसे लोगों की भी अगर कोई तारीफ कर दे तो भाई वो आदमी काबिल तारीफ। Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Commander Bhatia. Now I invite Wing Commander Dr. Kaushik.